Okay, class, I'm just gonna go over a couple problems from progress check 8, multiple choice part B. I know that, for example, this first question, you needed a calculator for it. So really, I just want to show you how to set it up. I know I sent you answer keys, but maybe they're a little sloppy, and it's hard to understand what I did. But basically what's going on is they are asking for the region that is bounded by this curve and in the first quadrant, so meaning the x and y axis. What it looks like is you would have a graph like this, and then I would just pick points. So if you plug in 0, you're going to get 3. If you plug in 1, right, you're going to get 1. And say you plug in 3, you would get 0, right? So just pick points that work nicely, and then you could see your curve would wind up looking like that. All right, but we are only concerned about the first quadrant, so we only need this portion here, okay? And then going over cross sections, right? So if it's perpendicular to the x-axis, draw your rectangle perpendicular to the x-axis, and then you can see this is the base of the rectangle that they're talking about. This is the base of the rectangle. So to find area of a rectangle, we know it would be height times width, length times width, whatever you want to use, but I'm using height and width here. So let me write this as area. So in this situation, if this right here is our base, or you could say our width, what's the distance of that from the top of the rectangle to the bottom of the rectangle? That would wind up being the height times the function ourselves. So we would just get 3 minus x over x plus 1, like that. Now the height, they're telling us, is twice the width. So if the height is twice the width, then we do 2 times that. This is our width. And then you could see that that would be our area function for the cross sections. Now, we don't have a calculator, or some of you don't have a calculator, so I could see, on this question we only had 3 correct answers. So here, when you're setting up the volume, you would have, looking at the x-axis, so it goes 0 to 3. And then it's just 2 times 3 minus x, x plus 1 squared dx. And I'm just taking the area function that we got and using that in our volume. So that's how you set it up. So I think what I'm going to do for you guys is just have you, if you could set it up and send me any calculator questions, that would be great. Non-calculator, you don't have to do so much. When you type it in the calculator, the answer should have came out to 7.819. If anybody has any info on, free calculators or calculators that they could get online that are useful, I'm going to try to do more non-calculator stuff for you guys, but we'll see how this goes as we move along. Just hang in there, okay? So that's that first question. Let's do one more. Okay, the second question is another cross-section question and calculator, so it's kind of tough. They're saying first quadrant again, you have the function cosine x, and they just want this to be from 0 to pi over 2. Cross sections are perpendicular to the x-axis again, and is equilateral triangle. Okay. So when you're looking at this function, right, if we're going 0 to pi over 2, you're really just going 1, and then cosine pi over 2 would be 0. So it looks like this. Cross sections, right? So you know your rectangle perpendicular to the x-axis. We're looking for this distance, which would just be cosine x, right? And they're saying it's equilateral triangles. So remember my little rule, root 3 over 4, and then whatever the sides of the triangle squared. So the sides of the triangle would be the cosine x. So it'll look like this. Volume equals root 3 over 4, side squared, so that's cosine x squared dx. And the interval is from 0 to pi over 2. And then this one is possible if you use like maybe your double angle formula. You can work through it without a calculator, but it does take a lot of time. So here the answer would be 0.34, okay? All right.